Oh, I've got the old school top on today. Got this back in 2000. When did I get this jersey? 2008, I think it was. 2008. Old days. Out for a spin. It's Corona lockdown here in Australia. And heaps of cyclists out. There's heaps of cyclists training the hills here in Adelaide. It's good to see people out there exercising, getting the fresh air. Good community. We're going to talk today about how to do epic long rides. If you find this video helpful, give it a thumbs up. If you think it's a load of give it a thumbs down. We're going to talk about how to do epic rides. An epic ride for you could be 50 Ks. 50K flat loop, that could be epic for you if you've never done it before. Could be 100K, could be doing your first century, which is 160 kilometers. Could be doing a double century, Could be doing a 200K ride or a 24-hour race or a solo epic tour across Australia. Whatever it is, how to do epic stuff. And it all is here, the mental aspects. All right? And there's different types of depression you will experience on these long rides. And that's what a lot of people are scared of. People are scared of depression. Right? When you understand depression, it's not about trying to avoid it and fear. Like, I don't like getting flat tires. But if I get a flat tire, I'm like, oh, it's time to fix it. Before I was going down the hill, Norton Summit, and this massive 6-foot kangaroo bounced in the road in front of me and it stopped dead in front of me. If I was going any faster, I would have got, me and the kangaroo would have been kissing lips. And that bike would have snapped in half because it's like a 700 gram frame. Would have clean snap. So that's another reason why I don't go too fast down the hill. That kangaroo is a good reminder. You stop dead in the tracks. All right? This is Adelaide, man. We've got kangaroos. We've got all sorts of things. Koalas. All sorts of things going on here. And, so it's about when things happen in your life, it's about reacting appropriately. So when the kangaroo jumped in front of me and almost crashed, kept moving on, didn't freak out, didn't panic, didn't give myself an excessive cortisol spike. Cortisol stores more fat in the body. So as a cyclist, not so good. So breathing in, breathing out can really help it. So let's talk about depression. You're going to have many waves of depression. You get these emotional roller coasters, right? Especially in the long races and long rides. And what a lot of these depressive modes are, these moods, these periods, people are like, I can't understand what's going on, Like, I used to get them all the time in the 90s. And I couldn't understand, like, one part of the race, you're absolutely loving it. Next part of the race, you're like, why am I even here? This is pointless. This sucks. You had these massive waves of emotion. What's going on? It's about understanding your body's hormones. Hormones often determine the mood. And also, largely hormones, really. Largely hormones. Cortisol, adrenaline, testosterone, estrogen, progesterone, insulin, ghrelin, leptin. These hormones can affect our mood massively. Our aldosterone, when you're dehydrated, can affect your mood. Make you more snappy and crabby. So if you understand the hormones and what triggers them, then you can have a bit more of a stable wave, The wave's just up and like that. But if you get these massive cortisol spikes or insulin spikes because too much fat, or you're insulin resistant, your brain's all cloudy because you're eating too much fat and the sugar can't into the bloodstream, into the cells properly, so then your blood sugar goes up, and then you got all these like inflammation responses, and you feel all keep breathing. Right? So let's talk about water depression. Water depression occurs when you run out of water. Your aldosterone levels get all whacked out, and your kidneys are in like alarming rate, and you're just like, and you get this maybe mild adrenaline release as well. Sometimes you just sort of feel alright before you really get bad, and then you're just feeling like cranky, you're feeling listless, you don't really care, you're feeling apathetic, you're like, your muscles aren't really working properly, and it's just water, So how to avoid that? Drink enough water so you're peeing clear every 2 or 3 hours. When you wake up in the morning, first thing, neck back, a cup of water, right? Or 5 ml of water, or a litre of water. Just get that water going to hydrate the body, get those aldosterone levels in check, and then the body's like, okay, ding, check 1, we've got water, we're good. Next big one is not enough carbohydrate. When you don't have enough carbohydrate, your serotonin and dopamine levels they become lower. They become non-optimized. So when you have carbohydrate, your dopamine goes up. Your serotonin goes up. And people, that's bad, dopamine, dopamine's bad. Like cocaine raises dopamine, doesn't it? Sugar's as addictive as cocaine. Well, so is rice, and so is fruit, and so is getting a hug from your mum or whoever you fancy, or care about or whatever. Dopamine's good. Just don't get a dopamine rush from cocaine. or caffeine, all right, or methamphetamine, or Adderall, or whatever. All right, dopamine's good. You don't avoid that, man. Avoiding dopamine is like, that's depression life straight away. But how you get your dopamine release is very, very important. All right, so when you eat carbohydrates, some sugar, some fruit, some rice, some corn, some starches, a bit of jam on bread, hold the margarine and butter, then you get you get dopamine hit. That's good. And you get nutrition, carbohydrates for your cells. Your red blood cells run on sugar. So when you don't eat enough carbs, your red blood cells die off really quickly, right? That's why my red blood cells, if you do my blood tests, they're always really high now. Regardless of what's going on with my hormones, blood cells go up because the sugar's there. And so that's a huge one. So carbohydrate depression is when our serotonin and dopamine levels get too low. And that's easy on a ride, especially a fast ride in a race or whatever. Then you start going, oh, what am I doing here? So your serotonin and dopamine drop them. So have some carbohydrates, have some little nibbles, have some snacks. It could be some vegan gummy bears or sugar drinks or whatever, gels or fruit, dates, dried banana, things like that. Just get any sort of simple sugars, even rice, into your body, and your serotonin, dopamine, bring it up. And you'll just be like, oh, game changer. Right? This is why people on low-carb diets really struggle with depression, deep depression. And they have to get on SSRI drugs, selective serotonin receptive inhibitors or whatever it is, where they help your serotonin levels start to be higher because your diet's low in carbohydrates. So you have to take a drug now to raise your serotonin levels because you're not eating enough carbohydrates. That's bad. In my opinion, that's a really bad idea because you need carbs for function, and then taking these drugs that have massive side effects. All drugs are liver toxic, right? Some more than others. And so if you're taking something that's liver toxic just because you don't eat enough carbohydrate, for me, that's a bad deal. If you're going to take something liver toxic, at least get some effect out of it. Not just because you don't eat enough carbs. That's silly. That's silly Billy. So that's carbohydrate depression, not enough carbs. Today I saw many riders struggling in ketosis, low carb. And I can tell someone who's doing low carb because I'll go past them. I'm doing maybe 200 watts. Not that hard for me. And they'll be struggling. They'll be doing probably maybe 80 to 100 watts and struggling. Not just like dawdling along on easy. They're just like, and they're just struggling. Anyone who's bonked or ran out of carbohydrates understands the feeling. Your legs are taken from you. You're just, your arms are weak. You're just jelly. You count down the seconds. Oh, so tough. And people think they have to go into ketosis to burn fat. It's like, man, that's the biggest myth ever. That's dangerous advice. That's silly advice. That's depression-inducing advice. The body burns fat in the flame of carbohydrate, right? So you chew through your body fat when you don't eat fat. Simple as that. You just chew through it long term. Not just today, not next week, but people I can't do it for a week, but I don't look like a bikini model yet. What's going on? Give it time, man. People want results. They're like, I'm going to really be bad for my body, abusive metabolism, do my drugs, do all this stuff, doing the pill, do steroids, do all this stuff, and then I'm going to stop for a week, end of the week, doing what? I want results, mate. Or your program doesn't work, mate. End of the week, mate, I want results. It's like, oh man. If you abuse yourself for years, it's going to take you years to get back to where you should be, all right? So just, if you walk down the path for 100 miles in the wrong direction, just because you turn around and walk a mile doesn't mean you're back on track, all right? You got to walk that 100 miles back and then go turn left at the fucking elm tree and you'll be good to go. So that's carbohydrate depression. Very, very common. Very, very easy. Water depression is the first one to get into. Real easy to dehydrate. Second one easy is carbohydrate depression. Third one could be what I call postural depression. These are all depressive moods that instantly can be resolved. Postural depression could be you've got a saddle sore. What's that? It's like a big boil. You're sweating salt. And you get sweating salt in your bum on your contact point of your saddle, and then these little salt crystals start to rub your skin, and then maybe get a little ingrown hair or a little infection, a little pimple, and it gets bigger. Maybe something like a little cyst size of a golf ball, and then that pops, and you hear it, poof, and you just like this pus is running down. No, it's not. But it can be really painful, and that can be postural. He's like, or your neck's really tight, your bars are too stretched out, and you're like, your hands are going numb because you got your seat tilted down because your seat's too high, and then you're like moving forward in the bike, you got your pressure on your ulnar nerve, and you've got your ulnar nerve compression. It's just, you can't feel it anymore. You get all these tingles in the wrong spots. bad tingles versus good tingles, and you're just like, oh man, it sucks, my neck's so stiff. Oh, and you can have enough carbohydrates, enough water, nice sunny day, good company, but if you've got pain in your neck, then you got that postural depression. So key one is good bike fit. Another one is just to have a break every hour or so, just sort of like, self-massage, rotate your neck, roll it around a bit, shake your hands a bit. You might see me riding up the hills, no hands, just shaking my hands or whatever. Postural depression, taking your shoes off at the cafe to get your water and sugars, and also having shoes that fit you properly. You don't want to have shoes that are too small. Oh, that's not true. Bike shop said, blah, blah, blah. My coach said, this said, the Italian said. Listen to your feet. It doesn't matter what I say or anyone says. Your feet should decide. If your feet are too big for your shoes, too big for your boots, you need bigger boots. Otherwise, you're going to have little sore tootsies, and you're going to be having postural depression. And every time you see your bike and your shoes, part of your body's like, man, that's pain. I don't want to do that. That's pain. And it's soon like, I don't like cycling. Cycling sucks. That's all like mountain bike boots. Got room. When I walk, it doesn't hurt my feet because you're walking on a cold ground. You're on this carbon fiber plate. There's a bit of plastic on the end. It's like, it's like bone on bone. It just doesn't feel good at all. So that's postural depression. That's another one. Another depressive episode you can get on the bike. The fourth one would be expectation depression. You're like, hey, I'm going to do 200 Ks today. I'm going to do 200 Ks by 2 p.m. and it's going to just get done. You go out of the house and then you get a flat tire. And you're like, yeah, so I'll get fix it up. And you put the spare tube in there right down the street, goes flat again. Then you got to go home. You can look for your bike box to get another spare tube and the patches. And you're like, hey. Then you realise you ran out of long valve valves. So you got to walk or use the other bike to go in the bike shop to get a spare long valve tube, put that in, and then and you realise you haven't taken out the bit of thorn. Actually, there's 2 bits of thorn in the tyre. You got the one out, but the second one's not out. So now it's 10 o'clock. You're leaving the door. You've done 1.6 kilometres, and you got another 198.4 to go. And you wanted to be done by 2. So now you got, 4 hours to do 200 Ks. And then so 100 Ks in, now your knees sore, and then the wind picks up, and you got a massive headwind, and you realise that you'd left your food at home, because you've been in a bit of a rush to get out the door, and now you got no food. And now the wind's really picking up. And you get another flat tyre. And you realise you ran out of patches. And you're not sure what's going to go on. And so that's like expectations aren't going to plan. Right? Now, if you just have a mindset like I have now, just like, well, fuck it ain't happening today. Or I'll finish the 200 Ks, but it's probably going to happen at midnight. Whatever. This universe is testing me. Let's roll it. Let's go with it. All right? So that can be expectation. That's a huge one, especially if you're touring. I'm going to do 200 Ks a day, every day. And then the winds pick up. Or you leave your sleeping bag back at the camping place 40k ago, and you realise that now you got to backtrack 40k's. Now it's extra 80k you got to do, So it's, and just being cool with that, and eliminating expectations. That's a huge one. And Jesse Carlson really drove that home for me. Back in 2017, I was like, oh yeah, the expectation depression. Yes, that's a huge one. Having these expectations. I'm going to do 360 k's a day, indie pack or whatever, or blah 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 blah, and then just have a roll with that. I remember when I did Impact 2017. I lasted like a few hours before my injuries from getting hit by the car crept up. I was like, this is silly, I can't do this. Had flights booked, hotels booked, everything organised. Experience. I've ridden across Australia, know exactly what to expect. I know the roads, I know everything out there. You really study them well when you're out there because there's nothing out there. It's easy to remember what's going on. And then with probably the first hour, first 30 minutes, I was like, I'm struggling, I'm already in pain. I pushed through anyway. I did 270 Ks. If I'll go to bed, I'll get 12 hours sleep, I'll wake up, get on the bike, and tomorrow's another day. And I did that, and within the first few minutes of getting on the bike, I'm like, oh man, this ain't going to get better. This ain't going to get better. This is going to get worse. I'm going to give myself a bad injury. And I pulled the pin. And so I didn't have any expectation depression because I'm like, it's what it is. I've ridden across Australia before, done that challenge. So, next challenge was, what's the next challenge? I thought, okay, let's vlog it, let's film it, let's bring some attention, let's bring some social media presence to the Indie Pack. So it worked out well. And cycling mate Troy, he saw me sitting down the side of the road eating some beans with spaghetti, whatever. He said, what are you doing, mate? I said, I'm done. He's like, oh, let's drive to Adelaide then. So I chucked my bike in the back of the car, and we got to have a bit of a fun drive across Nullarbor, and it was, I've done that for quite a while. So it is what it is. So you might have expectations, but sometimes your expectations, you're going to have to quit. Sometimes you're going to have to ride slower, or sometimes you're going to have to ride till 2 a.m. in the morning. So it depends on the situation. Whatever happens, don't beat yourself up about it, all right? But do your best. Always do your best. And if you've done your best and your best is all you got and it's still not enough, okay, did my best. What can I learn from this? And move on from it. Don't be like, oh, no, you know? And then when you're good, go back and finish the goal. You always got to go back and finish. You can't have unfinished business, you know? You can't have unfinished business. You got to go back and do what you're going to do. And so if your goal was to ride across the Nullarbor and you never done that, you need to do that. Like, riding across Australia is one of the best things ever. You know, I did that in 2002. It's like a life-changing experience. And, you know, it's a really, really good place. I've been across Australia up to tip of Cape York and all that. And that's how I learned most of this stuff. You know, learned the hard way. You know, you learn the hard way out in the middle of nowhere. You're crying and you're like, so, mummy, you know, and you're doing all this stuff. You're like, why am I feeling? What's going on? And it's just hormones, man. It's just hormones. You know, it's just hormones. Just like, you know, if your woman's not on the pill and she's like, you know, got natural female hormones through her body versus exogenous contraceptive hormones, she's going to be more feminine, more real. You know, just more of a woman because she's got her own hormones ticking over. And especially if she's young. You know, maybe she's older, it's different. But there's time and place to exogenous hormones. But if you're a young woman and your ovaries are functioning properly and you take an exogenous contraceptive pill, then you're going to have some real roller coaster episodes, you know, more than normal. So it's just about understanding that and not taking it personally when you or your girlfriend or whatever is like flipping out or whatever, you know, and understanding that. So it's easy not to take it personally in yourself. It's easy not to take it personally from other people if they're freaking out. Hormones determine everything, man. It's all about the hormone, right? Hormone. That makes the world go around. A hormone. Simple as that. It affects all the moods, everything. So when you're thinking, I just got to get a lighter bike or whatever, the lighter bike doesn't affect your hormones. You know, it helps, but it doesn't affect your hormones. Your carbohydrates will. You know, eating less fat, going to bed earlier, drinking the water, expectation, depression and stuff like that. When you have expectations and don't meet them, often your testosterone can drop off and you start to feel a bit beat. You know, your cortisol goes up because you're stressing. When your cortisol's up, your testosterone generally goes down, you know, and you're not having that much fun, and you store more body fat, and it's like, which can be beneficial if you're underweight. Having more body fat's underweight's good, you know. In time of famine, your body's going to repair itself. Hopefully this video's been of some insights. These are insights that, you know, not many people really talk about. People who know about them maybe keep them secret because they're like, well, I don't want other people out there, you know, doing epic stuff. I want to be the epic man. I want to be the epic girl. I don't want to share these secrets. You know, I don't want competition. I don't think I think we live in a world now where we can, you know, I mean, competition is good in a way, but if you're keeping secrets that can help other people, then, I don't know, I could be wrong. I'm not, but I could be, but I'm not. We live in a world where, you know, a lot of people are really suffering. And by keeping things hidden that could really, really help them, that ain't ethical. That's not integrity. You know, if someone needs to hear something and you know they need to hear it, then please say it. Even if they might not like it, even they might react or might hate you, it's better to say it. All right? That's how I run my life. And it causes me a lot of conflict, also gives me a lot of pleasure and a lot of ecstasy because I say it how I see it. And that really pisses off some people. But for the majority, they're like, man, I'm so grateful, Harley. Thank you very much. How can I help you? How can I help you? And it's just a great way to give back to the community, is share the secrets. It could be anything. It could be anything. Everyone's good at something. Everyone's good at something better than someone else is. You know, maybe you're a good pianist and someone's frustrated they can't learn this. You can help them with that. Or maybe someone doesn't drink enough water. The kid doesn't understand water. You know, hey, look, you've got to drink enough water so your urine's clear. That's why you're cranky and crabby. Oh, no. And then you go, well, I'm going to give you some water. No. Well, we're not leaving until you drink the water. And you have to be stern about it. Just say, this is how it is, you know. So you're in control here. You drink your water, we ain't going anywhere. Pull out your phone, start scrolling, or start making a video. So that's just the deal. You know, that's just the deal. Get out there, pay it back in the community. Push it forward, pay it forward. Pay it back. Treat people how you want to be treated. And don't keep secrets, man. Keeping secrets and watching other people suffer, I can't do it, man. It cracks me. If I see someone's seat too low, or I've got to say something, you know. And that's why I wear this Go Vegan stuff. Because when I go past people like Hill and they're in ketosis and they see me, they're like, oh man, that dude's flying, he's riding her hands, he's vegan, he says carb the fuck up. Oh shit, man, he's right, I might try it. If they don't, if they deny it, then man, they suffer, don't they? You know, some people just want to suffer. Some people don't believe that they're worthy of having an easy life. You know, like when I'm in easy life, like challenges are going to happen, but why waste energy on things that don't need to be done? Like, you know, like why, you know, when you put your shoes on in the morning, why try and do that with standing on your feet, standing on your head, or standing on your hand? Like, what, just put your shoes on and go do some handstands. Like, why are people making it so hard? Like, if you're in a bad mood, have some carbohydrates. Don't go and spend $1 zillion on therapists or whatever, when the reason why you're in a bad mood or feel depressed is because you're not eating enough carbs. You can take all the meds in the world and go to all the Tony Robbins seminars in the world and have gratitude, and it's great, but you're still going to feel crap if you don't get enough carbohydrates. And on the flip side, you can get enough carbohydrates, but still be ungrateful and edgy and angry at your parents or your ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend or whatever. And then that becomes your daily reality where you're frustrated and pissed off, and you're still carved up and you're still getting shit done, but your underlying thing is angry and pissed off at people, angry at the world or your past or people or whatever. Then that's not really succeeding, is it, either? You know, they take up a lot of space in your head. So it's about understanding why you do things. It's about understanding your hormones and understanding daily things we can do to optimize the hormones without starting to take a pill or injection or whatever. There's a time and place for that maybe. But otherwise, let's do the nutrition side first. Let's do the postural side first. Let's do the expectation and the gratitude side first. And that's quality life, my friends. Doesn't matter how much money you got in the bank. Doesn't matter if you're the king of Norton Summit or the queen of Norton Summit. If you ain't got gratitude, if you ain't got hormonal control, then life ain't really as good as it should be or could be. Peace.